what should I practice? I practice your stuff for 45 minutes. Then I do 5 minutes out of the Riley book, 5 minutes out of the Ted Reed book, 5 minutes out of Jim Chapin, 5 minutes out of Stick Control, etc. for like 4 hours. And it's like, yeah, but at some point you might want to go the opposite way. Hey guys, I'm Nate, this is the 80/20 Drummer, and today I'm back at the Jazz Kit. So today I'm going to show you 4 simple hacks, which not only will give you more variation in what you're able to play while you're playing jazz, but I bet you'll be able to take only a single idea and practice that for a couple hours, which is definitely something that a lot of the pros like Ari Honig talk about. So to begin with, I want to take kind of a hypothetical idiom you might be playing, which is actually one from my course, which just goes like this: 3, 4. Okay, and there are a number of reasons why I have that idiom. One is that it begins with the hi-hat, and so you're thinking about putting the hi-hat on the downbeat instead of only 2 and 4. So there are a number of reasons why people who are in my course learn this beat. It also has to do with the spacing of your eighth notes, how you're able to lock up with the metronome. So there are a number of things you can do to get just this beat dialed in. So if you're playing this and it's sloppy and it's not swinging, full stop. Either get my course or get Riley's book or something else and just spend a lot of time dialing that in so it's swinging. But if you're at the point where you're practicing improvisation while you're swinging and your feel is good, but you just want to come up with more ideas, let's now start to talk about the 4 ways that you can vary things. So the first is the one that's going to be most familiar to you, which is simple sort of theme and variations by adding and subtracting notes, but within the same rhythmic framework. So for instance, if you're starting with 3, 4, you could add an accent on the upbeat of 3. So 3, 4. Or you could add an accent on the upbeat of beat 2 right before the bass drum, which probably sounds better. So 3, 4. Or you could do my personal favorite, which is to actually add a bass drum double starting on the end of 2. So that would sound like this: 3, 4. It's got a little Clarence Penn thing happening there. So really quickly, let me just take you through those 3 or 4 variations. So starting with the original and going through the things I came up with. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next variation device is one that I talk about quite a bit, but it's sort of less obvious, and that is Hemiola. And so for people who aren't familiar with that concept, it just means that within a standard 4 bars of 4, that's 16 beats, instead of 4 groups of 4 beats making 16, you can also divide it into 2 groups of 6 and a group of 4. So the standard sort of example is, instead of 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, a hemiolized phrase could be 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So how do you make a hemiolized phrase? You start to develop an ear for it, but one good rule of thumb is if you've got a bar of 4, you just take the first 3 beats of that and repeat it, and then add 2 beats on the end, because 3 plus 3 plus 2 is equivalent to 4 plus 4 plus 6, depending on your subdivision. So our original phrase was 3, 4. So just the first 3 beats of that is... So I'm just going to play that twice and then a phrase of 2 beats. So 3, 4. So let me play you the original phrase for like 4 bars, and then I'll play you the hemiolized variation of that for 4 bars. 2, 3, 4. Another thing I want to add about the ride cymbal is it's useful to think of the ride cymbal in jazz as kind of like the background music in a movie. So you can do anything with the ride cymbal, or you can do nothing with the ride cymbal as long as it's swinging. But one thing that's underrated is just playing quarter notes. 2 of my favorite drummers, Jochen Ruckert, shoutouts, and Colin Stranahan, who was a former guest on the podcast, are both great at that. So that is a standard hemiola. Now, there's something I like to call a supersized hemiola, which is basically just doubling the quantities. So instead of 3-3-2 or 6-6-4, it's 12-12 and 8. So right, instead of 1-2-3-4, 1-2-3-4, 1-2-3-4, 1-2-3-4, 1, it would be 1-2-3-4-5-6-7-8-9-10-11-12, 1-2-3-4-5-6-7-8-9-10-11-12, 1-2-3-4-5-6-7-8-1. So you're just doubling it. So the way we would do that with our standard phrase, which again is 3, 4, is we would group it like this: 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now let me play you 4 bars of the original, 4 bars of the standard hemiola, and 4 bars of the double hemiola. So 2, 3, 4. So those are both 2 sort of base 6 hemiolas, which is what the real definition of hemiola means if you study music theory. But another thing I like to do is the Phi Viola, which instead of making 2 6-beat phrases and a 4-beat phrase to form 16 beats, you can make 2 5-beats and a 6-beat. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. And to do that to our standard beat, take the first 3 beats of the 4, and then you just add a 2-beat phrase on the end of that, repeat that twice, and then play a 6-beat phrase, which sounds complicated, but in practice, once you get an ear for it, it's simple. So again, the basic phrase is 3, 4. So our Phi Viola would sound like this: 3, 4. Okay, so that's hemiola, and there are a lot of possibilities to be uncovered there, but let's move on to possibility number 3, which is grace notes. And it's here that I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite young drummers, Kyle Poole. Shout outs. Kyle does a thing that I like to call the trip diddle it. And that just means that if you're making triple it, triple it, triple it, triple it, trip. And Kyle didn't invent this, but he's just used it to great effect. You can just do a completely single stroke way of changing that triple it to trip diddle it. So triple it becomes trip diddle it, trip diddle it, trip diddle it, trip diddle it, trip. So just by adding that trip diddle it, and pretty much anything that has the last two triplets, you can make a trip diddle it out of it. And that sounds really hip when you play it, even like medium up-ish. So original phrase 3, 4 becomes 3, 4. And again, just to reiterate, the ride cymbal is ornamental in terms of what precisely you play on it rhythm-wise. And I have, in my courses I go deep into how to vary the ride cymbal while keeping the swing feel. But for now, you can play quarters on it, or you can literally only play resolution points, and it all sounds good. So 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to come back to Kyle Poole and trip diddlettes, but I want to segue into variation hack number 4 now, which is orchestration. So one of the cool things that the trip diddlettes permit is if you're going left, right, left, that allows you to move in a counterclockwise manner around the drum kit. If you start low and go high, it just sounds hip. So trip diddle it, instantaneously can become trip diddle it, or trip diddle it. So let me start with our original phrase once again. I'll do the Kyle Poole trip diddle it, and then I will orchestrate it. So 2, 3, 4. And by the way, I'll just throw in parenthetically that the sort of secret fifth way to vary things is dynamics. Okay, so really quickly, when you add in the hemiolization and the Phi Violization to the trip diddle it with the orchestration, then the shit gets crazy. So let me show you an example of what that might sound like. So 2, 3, 4. Okay, so really quickly, I want to take you through those 4 possibilities of variation as if I was condensing an hour or an hour and a half worth of practice into just a few minutes. Yep, so here goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's kind of an overview of how you might spend 90 minutes on just a single idea. And I know one question I'm probably going to get about this is, where do I get ideas? So you can take an idea from any of the sources that you're already practicing. So if you're playing John Riley's book, instead of just playing from exercise to exercise, like 3, 4, take just one of those exercises, or even one piece of one of those exercises, and introduce theme and variations to it. So you could do. Now, you're not going to be able to do the trip diddle it with everything. It's used best when you've got the last 2 triplets of a lick, but you can still use the other ones for practically anything. The adding and subtracting of notes, the hemiolization, and the orchestration, and then the dynamics on top of everything else. So I feel like this answers one of the major concerns I have about a lot of the emails I've been getting, which is that it's some variation of, what should I practice? I practice your stuff for 45 minutes. Then I do 5 minutes out of the Riley book, 5 minutes out of the Ted Reed book, 5 minutes out of Jim Chapin, 5 minutes out of Stick Control, etc. for like 4 hours. And it's like, yeah, but at some point you might want to go the opposite way and just pick one thing and really delve deeply into it. And I think that you'll find that doing that with a mindset toward developing your own idioms out of it is really going to be the faster way to greatness. You use those other resources, those great books, as a template when you don't want to use your brain to think of something to play. But you try to get away from them as quickly as possible once your time and your feel are dialed in. Guys, if you want to learn more about me, I recommend checking out a product called the 80/20 Roadmap. It is kind of your one-stop shop if you've decided you're sick of playing the same stuff in the practice room every day and not getting better. It turns out most drummers suffer from some version of the same 3 issues, and the roadmap will help you do a self-diagnosis, figure out where to focus your energy, and give you some basic tools to start triaging that and get your playing going. And I know that once you check out the roadmap, you want to come back to me for all your drumming needs, including the coaching course, which is my premium product, which is like 6 months of studying with me for about the price of a single lesson. And you'll get more information, but start with the roadmap. Tell me what you think. I have it on good authority that it's helped a lot of people. Guys, always fun to do this. See you soon in another lesson of the week. One love. Peace.